I became insane with long intervals of horrible sanity. Wow, what a quote, right? It really sounds like a riddle wrapped in an enigma. A bit like the man who said it, actually.
Edgar Allan Poe.
Exactly. We're talking about Edgar Allan Poe today.
And he really is, well, a huge figure in American literature, isn't he? Poe wasn't just some writer. He was a renowned critic, a poet, an editor, all known for this really distinctive, dark, mysterious style.
That's why they call him the master of the macabre, I suppose.
And quite rightly, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And today, on the deep dive, our mission is kind of, well, to unravel that whole complex tapestry of Poe's work and his life.
We want to dig into how his own tragedies maybe fueled his creativity.
Yeah, and his massive influence on whole genres of writing, plus that enduring mystery about how he actually died.
Right. The goal is really to pull out the key bits of knowledge for you, sort of a shortcut to understanding Poe, with maybe some surprising facts and hopefully enough humor to keep you listening.
Let's hope. So, Poe's life. It really reads like one of his own dark stories.
It really does. I mean,
Yeah.
the sources show he faced just immense hardship from when he was tiny. Imagine losing both parents by the time you're just 3 years old.
God, that's rough.
And that kind of profound loss so early on, it definitely laid the groundwork for those dark, macabre themes that you see again and again in his work.
You can almost feel that shadow hanging over everything he wrote. And it wasn't just things happening to him, was it? He had his own demons.
Oh, absolutely. We know he struggled quite a bit with addiction, alcohol, gambling, and these battles. Well, they clearly fed into some self-destructive patterns.
And he was surprisingly honest about it for the time. There's that quote where he reflects on it, saying he found absolutely no pleasure in the stimulants he sometimes madly indulged in.
Right. He said it wasn't about pleasure. It was a desperate attempt to escape from torturing memories, from loneliness and this dread of some strange impending doom.
That just paints such a vivid picture of his inner turmoil, doesn't it?
It really captures that struggle. He's often described as this tortured soul, obsessed with death, violence, the macabre.
But there's a strange flip side, isn't there?
Yes, exactly. It's a paradox.
Yeah.
Despite all that darkness, sources suggest he gained this real appreciation for the deeper mysteries life offers up. That duality, I think, is key to understanding his unique genius.
And what a genius. I mean, truly a master of the macabre. He didn't just contribute to genres, he practically defined them. Gothic fiction, horror, mystery.
He was foundational. He just had this knack for building suspense, crafting these incredibly melancholic, eerie atmospheres like nobody else. It transformed the horror genre.
How did he do that, though? Create that feeling?
Well, a lot of it was atmosphere and setting. Poe used these vivid, sometimes really grotesque descriptions. He wasn't just telling you, he was showing you, making you feel that intense fear and dread.
Right, like those decaying houses.
Exactly. Decaying houses, isolated landscapes, gloomy castles, they're all over his stories. Think about the fall of the House of Usher. That crumbling mansion isn't just a backdrop, is it?
No, it feels like a character itself, a symbol of the decay happening inside the people, too.
Precisely. It mirrors their psychological breakdown.
Yeah.
It's haunting.
And he went beyond just spooky settings, didn't he? He dove right into the mind.
Oh, completely. His exploration of psychological terrors, madness, obsession, guilt, paranoia, that was really innovative stuff for the time.
Like in The Telltale Heart, the scary part isn't just the murder, it's being inside the narrator's head.
Yes. You feel his guilt building, that beating heart, driving him mad, making him confess. It's that internal torment that's so chilling. He really puts you right there in that state of psychological collapse.
And his view of death itself was unusual.
Very.
Yeah.
He often seemed to romanticize it, didn't he? Seeing it as both terrifying and, in a strange way, beautiful.
You see that in Annabelle Lee for sure, that intense love that even death can't stop.
It's incredibly powerful. A love so profound, death becomes almost irrelevant to the bond itself.
Another trick he used was the unreliable narrator.
Right.
Keeping you off balance.
Absolutely. He loved using first-person narrators where you just can't quite trust what they're telling you. It adds all these layers of uncertainty, ambiguity.
The Black Cat is a prime example. Is he mad? Did these things really happen that way?
Exactly. His descent into madness makes you question the entire narrative. What's real, what's imagined. It's brilliantly unsettling.
So, master of horror, Gothic tales. But then there's this whole other thing. He basically invented the detective story.
It's kind of amazing, isn't it? He's widely called the father of the modern detective story.
Wow, so how did that happen?
Well, it starts with The Murders in the Rue Morgue back in 1841. that's generally seen as the first modern detective story.
And it introduced
C. Auguste Dupin, the first real archetypal detective. Brilliant, eccentric. Sound familiar?
yeah, a bit like Sherlock Holmes.
Exactly. Dupin was the model. Poe pioneered so many key elements we now take for granted in detective fiction.
Like what?
Well, the locked room mystery, for one, the brilliant but slightly odd detective, and crucially, the use of ratiocination.
Ratiocination, fancy word.
It just means logical, deductive reasoning, thinking step by step through the clues. Dupin's methods, Poe's whole analytical approach and story structure, they became fundamental to the genre.
Mind-blowing. And as if that wasn't enough, he was also dabbling in science fiction, way ahead of his time.
He really was, exploring ideas about time, space, scientific discovery, long before sci-fi became a big thing.
What kind of stories?
Well, there's the unparalleled adventures of one Hans Pfaall, where a guy builds a balloon to fly to the moon.
And a moon in the 1830s.
Yep. And another one, von Kempelen and his discovery, about a man who figures out how to turn lead into gold. Alchemy via science, almost. Pretty forward-thinking stuff.
Okay, let's zoom in on some of the really famous works. We have to start with The Raven.
Oh, definitely. Published in 1845. It's arguably his most famous piece, right?
Yeah.
And just a classic example of Gothic literature.
That image of the narrator, deep in sorrow for Lenore, and then the raven tapping.
And perching on the bust of Pallas Athena, the goddess of wisdom.
Right. And just saying that one word.
Nevermore.
Chilling. Driving the narrator deeper and deeper into despair, feeling his soul will never escape the raven's shadow.
And the symbolism is just so rich. It dives deep into grief, death, loss. The raven itself is often read as symbolizing death or black magic or even the devil.
It's this inescapable reminder of his sorrow.
Exactly. And it lands on the bust of wisdom, Pallas Athena, almost displacing reason with overwhelming grief. It's incredibly effective.
Then there's Annabel Lee, which feels very different but just as intense.
It's this incredibly poignant poem about love that, well, supposedly conquers death.
It focuses on this pure, eternal love starting in childhood, so intense that Poe writes the angels in heaven, the winged seraphs, were jealous of them.
Coveted her and me, yeah. But then tragedy strikes. Annabel Lee dies, taken by a wind that blew out of a cloud, chilling.
And her relatives take her away to a tomb, a sepulcher by the sea.
But the narrator insists their souls are linked forever. Nothing, not angels or demons, can dissever my soul from the soul of the beautiful Annabel Lee.
And he spends his nights lying by her tomb. It's beautiful, but also kind of unsettlingly obsessive.
Deeply unsettling, yes. That's Poe, isn't it?
Yeah.
Beauty and darkness intertwined.
Okay, shifting gears completely. The Cask of Amontillado. Pure, cold revenge.
Oh, this one is a masterclass in chilling calculation. Montresor decides to murder Fortunato for some unspecified insult.
We never even find out what it was.
Exactly. He lures him down into the catacombs, promising this rare sherry, Amontillado.
And then just bricks him up, alive. It's horrifying.
What makes it so powerful, though, is that it's told entirely from Montresor's perspective. Poe lets us right inside the mind of the murderer.
You see his twisted logic, his planning.
And the symbolism, Montresor's family motto, Nemo me impune lacessit, which means,
no one harasses me with impunity. Basically, don't mess with me. It perfectly signals his intent.
And the names are ironic too, right? Fortunato, the fortunate one, not so much.
Not so much, no. And Montresor, perhaps my treasure, referring maybe to his family name he feels Fortunato slighted, or just the treasure of his revenge. You're left questioning his sanity, his real motives. It's brilliant psychological horror.
And speaking of psychological horror, The Telltale Heart, another classic.
Truly ghoulish. The narrator, obsessed with the old man's eye, his vulture eye,
leads him to this meticulous murder dismemberment.
Right.
But then the guilt starts.
That's the core of it, the psychological torment. He keeps insisting he's sane, even as he hears the imagined beating heart of his victim under the floorboard.
Driving him completely mad.
Until he can't take it anymore and confesses to the police, who are just sitting there unaware. It's this incredible portrayal of guilt as this haunting self-destructive force. So when we pull back and look at his whole legacy, it's not just the stories and poems, is it? There's more complexity there. Controversies, even.
Definitely. It's interesting to look at how his writing sometimes reflected the political climate, particularly around issues like racism, slavery, and class distinctions in the southern U.S.
He's often identified with the South, right? And defended some aspects of slavery.
He was, yes. But it's complicated. He also seemed to tap into this market trend. where graphic depictions of the horrors of slavery were popular, using that to create terror in readers. You see hints of this in Hop Frog, perhaps.
And they're stereotyping, too.
Yeah, there's definitely racial stereotyping, like the description of the orangutan and the murders in the Rue Morgue, which reflects common prejudices of the time.
Yeah.
He was using the tools and tropes available, even the problematic ones.
It's also strange how his fame grew, isn't it? More popular abroad first.
Yeah, kind of ironic. He got more acclaim internationally, especially in France, before he really got his due in the U.S.
Why was that?
Well, part of it was down to his literary executor, a guy named Rufus Griswold.
Oh, I've heard about him. Not a fan.
Not remotely. Griswold apparently held a grudge, and after Poe died, he basically launched a smear campaign. Painted him as just a drunkard and opium addict, really tarnished his reputation in America.
Honestly.
Yeah. So it took quite a while, maybe 50 years or so after his death, for American critics and readers to fully recognize the genius of his work, partly thanks to international recognition paving the way.
So we'll talk about holding a grudge, and then, of course, there's the ultimate mystery, his death.
Still unsolved. Found in Baltimore, 1849, delirious, wearing clothes that weren't his. Never really regained consciousness to explain what happened.
So what did happen? There are tons of theories, right?
So many, and none are completely proven. One idea is he was just beaten up by thugs.
Okay, plausible.
Then there's the cooping theory. This was a pretty nasty form of election fraud back then.
Coop.
Yeah, gangs would kidnap men, drug them or get them drunk, disguise them, and force them to vote repeatedly at different polling places. Poe was found delirious on Election Day, looking disheveled. It fits, in a grim way.
That sounds horrifying. And widely believed.
It's one of the more accepted theories, yeah. Fits the circumstances.
What about the obvious one, alcoholism? He struggled with it.
Many people at the time assumed he just drank himself to death, but recent analysis of his hair sample showed really low levels of lead.
Which suggests?
It suggests he might actually have been sober for some time before his death, which kind of throws that simple explanation out the window, or at least complicates it.
Interesting. So what else? Medical stuff.
Lots of medical theories. Carbon monoxide poisoning? Maybe, but tests weren't conclusive. Heavy metal poisoning, possibly mercury from cholera treatments he might have had. But again, the levels found weren't definitively lethal.
What else is on the list?
Rabies. A cardiologist in the 90s looked at the reported symptoms, delirium, confusion, refusing water later on, and said it looked like a textbook case of rabies.
Rabies? Wow. Any evidence of a bite?
No, that's the catch. No mention of an animal bite or hydrophobia early on. Then there's the brain tumor theory.
A tumor?
Yeah. Apparently when his body was moved years later, a worker noted a calcified lump inside the skull. Could a tumor explain his behavior, his sensitivity to alcohol? Maybe.
Or maybe something simpler.
Could be. Just a bad case of the flu turning into pneumonia. He was found out in the cold and rain. Perfectly possible.
And the most dramatic theory?
Murder. Less evidence for this one, but a story circulated that his fiance's brothers ambushed him, beat him, maybe forced him to drink. More speculation than hard fact, though.
So many possibilities. It's kind of fitting, isn't it?
It really is. The man who invented the detective story leaves us with the ultimate cold case. His own death. Almost poetic.
It feels like he might have appreciated the irony, maybe.
You could almost imagine him writing it. His final, most baffling tale.
So wrapping this all up, Edgar Allan Poe, his legacy is just immense, isn't it?
Undeniable. A true master storyteller who completely reshaped literary genres. He took us into the darkest corners of the human mind. Obsession, love, madness, revenge.
And his works still resonate today. They still captivate, still challenge us. They offer these timeless windows into fear, grief, the whole messy human condition.
Absolutely, they stick with you.
Which leads to a final thought for you to chew on. Considering how Poe constantly blurred that line between reality and delusion in his own writing, how do you think he might have seen all these competing theories about his own death? Would he see it as like his final great mystery, or just as sad, unavoidable end to a difficult life?
That's a great question. A final riddle, perhaps.
Yeah.
Definitely makes you think. Very Poe-like ending to his own story.